I've been known to spit the flows and make a shaky, shaky thing. Poppin', lockin', stoppin', let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip-hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my Jaeger.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable Channel 23, Danbury, Connecticut, on this July 25th, as we are almost at the end of July into August, which means baseball is getting pretty serious at this point. A lot of big games going down as we get down to the nitty-gritty last couple months. Still plenty of games to be played, so a lot of things could happen over that time, and a lot of things could change. We will certainly get into baseball, pennant races, who's where in the standings. Is A-Rod going to play again ever? Are the Yankees faking an injury, trying to hold him out? Is it A-Rod or is it A-Quad? A-Quad, is that the new name for A-Rod? Anyways, we'll get into all that soon enough. My right-hand man, Mr. Bob Rudd Jr., is not actually here with us right now. He should be calling in during the show at some point. He is down at Rogers Park right now, checking out the Danbury Westerners who are on life support, clinging to the desperate notion that they can possibly make the playoffs still, even though they have had less than a stellar season. They are currently sitting in last place, and they're in a doubleheader right now with the North Adams Steeplecats today, as they are continuing to make up games from the rained out games earlier in the year. So we'll see how they're doing in game one, which started at 5 o'clock, and Bob will give us an update on that when he calls in, and we'll see if the team feels like they can overcome a 3-game deficit in the standings to make the playoffs with only 8 games remaining. That's going to be a little bit dicey. While we wait for Bob to call, let's stay local and talk about the other local sports icon in the area, and that would be Delvin Rodriguez, the great boxer from the area. We didn't really get a chance to talk about Delvin's last fight against Freddie Hernandez. It was a Friday night fight on ESPN up in Mohegan Sun a couple months ago. It was a great fight. It was a little bit dicey. I was concerned going into this fight for Delvin. I thought he took it rather quickly. He had beaten Comanche Boy with a knockout, and he took this Freddie Hernandez fight with only about 2 months in between. So I was a little worried that he was going to not have enough layoff. And he was in some trouble in this fight against Freddie Hernandez. But there was some headbutts going on and this and that. And he ended up scoring the TKO by landing a double combination in around the 8th or 9th round. And, at first it was ruled they would go to the scorecard. They stopped the fight saying that it was a headbutt that caused an open wound in Freddie Hernandez. To his credit, Delvin Rodriguez said no, it was not a headbutt. He knew all along, told the ref, told the judge that it was from a punch. And the judges actually did the right thing. After they went to the scorecard to see who was ahead on points when the supposed headbutt took place, and they gave the victory to Delvin on the points, the scorecards, they actually cleared up the whole mess and awarded a TKO as they looked at the replay on the spot, said no, it was clearly from a combination that he threw, opened up a big cut. Hernandez was unable to continue, and he scored the TKO. So now Delvin is got 2 wins back-to-back after that disappointing loss to Austin Trout, and the news comes in this week that he is all set to take on Miguel Cotto in a big match on October 5th down in Orlando, Florida. Cotto is a name that a lot of boxing fans will recognize. He's been in some big matches. He lost to Floyd Mayweather recently. He also lost to Austin No Doubt Trout. After Trout and Delvin went to a decision, Cotto got beaten rather handedly by Austin No Doubt Trout, which actually opened some people's eyes. There was disappointment in Rodriguez's effort with Trout. People thought that he wasn't up to snuff. He had the chance for the belt, and it was a lackluster fight, but it really was a matter of 2 styles making a fight that did not clash together. These guys just could not feel each other out, so it looked like a lackluster fight when really it was just 2 guys who really just never let each other get to each other, and Trout got the decision and withheld the belt. Then he came out and he beat up Cotto pretty good, and that made people think, you know what, maybe Rodriguez wasn't so bad after all. He went toe-to-toe with Trout, the champion, and he never let him hurt him, and he really fought the fight pretty well. So now, here we go, a year and a half or so later, and it's Cotto versus Rodriguez. And really, I think Rodriguez is going to have some bulletin board material, because early on, as they've announced this fight this week, the talk has been that Cotto, who is a former champion himself, a guy who's a world-class fighter, typically stated as being at a different level than Rodriguez, and that's what people are saying. Rodriguez has been a fringe contender for years now. Is he up to Cotto's level? And they're labeling this as a bounce-back fight for Miguel Cotto, so he can go on and finish his career strong after these latest setbacks to Trout, and of course no harm losing to Floyd Mayweather. But this is what Cotto is seeing right now. This is what the boxing community is saying. Bounce back for Cotto. Rodriguez is going to have to step up a class. Will he be able to do it? I don't know. This is and here's the other interesting aspect. Freddie Roach, legendary cornerman, has joined Cotto's team for this fight as they try to get him back on track. He's lost 2 in a row, where Rodriguez has won 2 in a row, and he's won them in impressive fashion. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this big fight October 5th down in Orlando. I'm sure Delvin, who's always great about getting out in the community here in Danbury, will be seen. He will be visible. You'll be able to check him out at different locations as he's working out. He's been to the local gyms. He goes to some of the local restaurants, local bars, does some events where he gets his fans to come out. So as we lead into this fight, and when it comes up in Orlando, we will be talking about it much more in October, but we did want to go ahead and get that brought to your attention, that Delvin Rodriguez, who we were very concerned about after that Trout fight, was going to fall off the map, that his last big chance was then. But this is really, I think, even a bigger fight for Rodriguez, fighting a fighter like Cotto, even though he lost to Trout. Trout has meanwhile lost since then as well. He's no longer the title holder. But I think this is actually a huge fight for Delvin, Danbury's own. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be down there in Orlando. It's going to be a great fight. All right, we don't have Bob yet on the phone, and maybe I will take mention right now to say that his show Spotlight On is on Tuesdays at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Bob and I also have been doing work for the Danbury Westerners Roundup show, which follows us at 6:30 right here on Channel 23 on Thursdays, and Fridays it re-airs right after our show does at 1:30. Bob and I were both down at the field. I got a bunch of interviews, so next week, the next couple weeks, we will see interviews with the players, the coaches, and some game action from some games they had last week as they were trying desperately to hold on to their playoff position. So those, you can look forward to that. Of course, in the studio running the show by himself tonight, Mr. Mike Toohey. His show, Expose Cinema, is on Friday nights at 9 and Wednesdays at 1. All right, we will continue to wait and see if Bob calls us to give us an update on what is happening at the Rogers Park game. So we'll switch gears and let's talk about the British Open. And this was really quite an event this past weekend. Tiger Woods was giving some people some belief that he could be back in the mix, but it was Phil the Thrill, the not so hefty lefty anymore. Phil the Thrill, the Mick Mickelson, coming through in a big way with a legendary all-time round on Sunday, the final round, final day of the British Open. He shoots a 66 5 under par, which was the tied for best ever final round of a major. Nobody's shot a 66 in a final since 2000. So he puts up an epic round. He birdies 4 out of the last 6 holes, and including this nice birdie putt on 18 as an icing on the cake. He started the day 5 shots back, and he ends up winning, going away 3 strokes. He ends up winning. He finishes as the only player under par, 3 under par. He finished, the runner-up finished at even. Tiger, who was tied for the lead late on Saturday, ended up 2 strokes off the lead as he bogeyed, I think 17 it was on Saturday, and he fell into the second grouping. The second pairing was not in that leader group to start the day Sunday, and then he bogeyed early and often, fell off the pace. He fell out of contention early, and it was Phil climbing up this leaderboard as Tiger was whimpering his way to the back. Of course, we all know the history with Tiger. He has never, even during his illustrious days of winning many majors, never ever has he come from behind in a final round of an Open or a championship or a major championship to come back to win. He is no Arnie's Army, as I was once told by my father, who watched Arnold Palmer in years gone by charge up that leaderboard, win many a match in the last day on a Sunday. But Tiger has never shown the ability to come from behind. He's a great front runner. Now he cannot get himself into the front to run away, and nobody's afraid of Tiger anymore. And Phil, this is unbelievable. After his heartbreaking 6th runner-up finish at the U.S. Open just about a month or so ago, you figured there was no way Phil, who admittedly and honestly has always said the British Open is his toughest task. He never really felt that he could contend at a British Open. The links style of golf is different than the style of golf played in the United States, but he was relaxed. Maybe that heartbreak, this is what I saw on Sunday, there was no pressure there on Phil. He puts a lot of pressure on himself at the U.S. Open. He's finished runner-up 6 times, so we know he wants that one bad. He's been so close so many times, and the fans really pull for him big time there. But he seemed loose. He seemed easy. He seemed really in the zone, if you want to borrow a basketball term, when the player gets in the zone and the hoop gets as large as whatever, and the ball's just dropping in from any point on the court. Phil was dropping shots from any place on the course here. It was an unbelievable performance, so congratulations to Mickelson, who now has 3 of the majors. Only 12 people have ever won 3 of the majors. Only 3 have held 3 of the majors since 1980. So the most recent modern generations of golf have seen Jack Nicholson, they've seen Tom Watson, they've seen Tiger Woods, and now they have seen Phil Mickelson master 3 separate majors. He's got 3 Masters championships. He's won the PGA. Imagine if he could have ever won one of these U.S. Opens, and most recently the one a month or so ago. 6 runners up there. He could have the career Grand Slam. So that's where it's going to be at for Phil now. He's going to really have pressure on him to win this U.S. Open if he wants to complete that career slam. So really just a great performance by Phil overall, and it was a nice event to watch. While that was going on, other international events that were taking place, the Tour de France finished up. And really, you know, cycling has taken such a big hit over the years with Lance Armstrong and all the other cyclists with the doping. But this was the thing that was interesting to me. We saw at Wimbledon a couple weeks ago, Andy Murray turn the sports world upside down, becoming the first Great Britain winner in 70-something years there. Now we see the Tour de France, and it's back-to-back years for Great Britain. Chris Froome wins it, and he really was the leader for the final 2 weeks, holding that yellow jersey, putting on quite a performance, as he really was just not really challenged that much in the final week and a half. It was a great performance by him. So back-to-back years now, Great Britain wins the Tour de France, and they take that title home. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, the World Cup is on its way next year. And 4 years ago, when Spain was turning the world upside down, winning Euro Cup, which brought them into the World Cup. At the same time, there was a tennis player, Rafael Nadal, dominating tennis, and it was the Spaniard there. So I'm thinking to myself, could you imagine England, the soccer-crazy, soccer-starved nation, could they get a team together to build on Andy Murray's success at Wimbledon? These back-to-back cyclists winning at the Tour de France, get their team together and get it going for the World Cup in Brazil next year. That would be a story to watch. And speaking of soccer, we will shift gears out of the Tour de France right into the soccer stuff that's going on right now. It's all about the Gold Cup, and it's all about Team USA. Unbelievable. This team right now, if you are not tuning in, and really actually the last game was tough to find because it was on this new Fox Sports Soccer Network, which I did not get. Was quite disappointed that I've been watching all these Gold Cup games on other networks, and then all of a sudden the semifinal comes along and I can't watch it because they're launching their new network that nobody has yet. Bad job by Fox, bad job by the Gold Cup, CONCACAF, letting that go down the way they did. Good job, however, by Team USA winning again. The winning streak is up over double digits, longest winning streak maybe in history for the USA, but they really are riding high right now as they beat Honduras 3-1 as they have run through this Gold Cup, scoring many goals, really racking up the goals. Klinsmann, the coach, the German who knows a lot about offense, he has unleashed this team. It's no more sitting back if they get a 1-goal lead. It's racing out, getting a 2-goal lead, racing out for a 3-goal lead, keeping the pressure on. And it was never more evident than it was against El Salvador in the quarterfinal, a game they won 5-1. They were up 2-1 in this game. El Salvador got a penalty kick late in the half to cut it to 2-1. They come out in the second half, and El Salvador makes offensive changes, and they are pressing hard, and they are making challenges to tie this game up early in the second half. Klinsmann says, no, I will not make substitutions to go for more defense. I will counter their offense with more offense. Why? Because if they are making subs to bring in offense, that means they are opening themselves up on the defensive end. So we will fight fire with fire, and we will look to score more goals. He brings in Eddie Johnson. 16 seconds later, Eddie Johnson, demolition man with the yellow hair, comes in and puts it in the back of the net on a corner kick. Beautiful header, and they go up 3-1. They tack on 2 more goals for a 5-1 lead. Landon Donovan, and there you see Eddie Johnson right there celebrating, and the crowd went wild because this game was getting dicey in the quarterfinal. El Salvador was pressing, and there you see Wando right there, Wondolowski, Chris Wondolowski, whatever his name is. These guys are playing very well. Landon Donovan scored 2 goals last night in the 3-1 win over Honduras. Check out the scores from this Gold Cup. 6-1 against Belize, 4-1 against Cuba, 1-0. That was a great game that took place up in Hartford. Know some people that went there. They got a goal late in that game, 89th minute, I believe it was, on a rare breakaway. Costa Rica put one off the crossbar. U.S. secures the rebound, long pass out to the left side, breakaway goal for a 1-0 lead, and they were off and running. So a great exciting thing there. 1-0, the lowest scoring game. El Salvador 5-1, then Honduras. Then late last night, after they beat Honduras, Panama takes down Mexico. So it's going to be Panama versus USA in the final. Hopefully this game will be actually on regular TV channel, and we'll be able to watch the Gold Cup final and see if the USA can continue this winning streak. All right, well, we haven't heard from Bob, so maybe he's caught up in the action. Who knows? He's got a lot of responsibility down there. If you ever get down to Rogers Park, you'll see Bob running around with his head cut off, making sure everything is going on. He's the man behind the scene. So maybe we will not be getting the call from Bob as we had hoped to get an update or a score to see if the Westerners are holding on to dear life. They are 14-22 right now. 16-18 is the team in front of them, the Saratoga Brigade. So they're 3 back. Only 2 in the loss column, but 4 in the 2 in the win column. 4 in the loss column. They have played 1 fewer game than the Brigade have. They had another 6-game losing streak. This was just the worst case scenario. They lost a game at home, and then they had double headers on the road Friday and Saturday, and they lost both double headers. So they dropped on Friday a home game, or Thursday it was a home game, Friday a doubleheader on the road, Saturday doubleheader on the road. So in the course of 3 days, they lost 5 games, and they lost on Wednesday as well. So all of a sudden it was a 6-game losing streak. They went from being in a tie for that final playoff spot to being out, and now 3 games back of the Brigade. And the Brigade have only won 3 out of their last 10 games, 3-7 in their last 10, so they're not ripping things up either. 8 games left. The Westerners do possibly have a chance to somehow, some way, pull off a minor miracle, and that's what it would be. But they're playing 2 games today, so hey, maybe they turn the table. Last weekend they lost the doubleheaders. Maybe they win a doubleheader today, and they get 2 games right back just like that. And they could be inching closer and closer and getting themselves back in the mix. So they have games left, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's get into Major League Baseball. Big series finale tonight. The Tampa Bay Rays, the hottest team in baseball right now. You know, I have been saying that they have been making hay against the bottom feeders, beating up on the Houston Astros, the Toronto Blue Jays, and they have ran off a streak where they won 18 of 20 games. They now have come to Boston, and they have taken 2 out of the first 3 in a 4-game set with the first place on the line against those Bo Sox. And tonight's game is huge because now the Red Sox lead is down to a half a game against Tampa Bay. They'd like to split this series and get out of here with a 1.5 game lead on those Tampa Bay Rays, who have now won 19 of 22 games dating back to before the All-Star game, wrapping that around, coming out of the break, sweeping the Blue Jays, and taking 2 out of the first 3 against the Red Sox. The Red Sox came out of the break in first, and they faced the Yankees at home in Fenway for the first time all year, amazingly, all the way to the end of July before those damn Yankees came limping into Fenway to try their hand at the Red Sox, and the Red Sox took 2 out of 3. Late night affair, 5-hour game or so on Sunday night baseball, extra inning, and it was Va Napoli. Napoli with the walk-off home run in the 11th, and that was the call. Va Napoli, get out of here, go to Naples. They win it, and they win it going away, and they take out those Yankees. All right, let's talk about the Yankees. They are playing, actually, they were winning today 2-0 in the 9th inning against Texas as we were getting ready to come on the air. What is the deal with the Yankees? Would they just please come clean? I'm actually now starting to get to the point where I'm going to start rooting for A-Rod and this whole sham that is going on. First, they send him to a AA rehab assignment. Not AAA, but AA. They gave him a 20-game assignment to get him ready to come up and play baseball for, the big league team. Meanwhile, Derek Jeter gets a 2-game assignment. 2 games. A-Rod, 20 games. Derek Jeter, 2 games. I mean, please, what do they think the fans are? Stupid? It's obvious with this whole biogenesis thing going down. Ryan Braun, the fraud, the liar, getting suspended by baseball. The first shoe to drop in this biogenesis thing, suspended for the remainder of the season. The Yankees are hoping for all sake that this suspension comes in before they have to activate him, which means that they can then collect the insurance money and not have to pay a cent to him this year, and it will be on the insurance's dime, not their dime. They will not have to pay him. So they continue to stall. Never mind that twice now, A-Rod has said, I am fit, I am ready to go. He was supposed to play on Monday in Texas. Then on Sunday they say, nope, go to the doctor. We think you've got a quad injury. He doesn't have a quad injury. He says he feels fine. So now this week he's saying, I'm ready to play. I want to go Friday. He goes behind their back, sees another doctor, gets a second opinion. This doctor says there's no injury. The player is not complaining of any problems. He's ready to play. They say it's not a legitimate doctor. This doctor has been involved in steroid cases before. Unbelievable. You cannot make this stuff up. It's been stealing headlines, stealing news away from what really should be matter, and that is pennant races and things going on in the real world of baseball. Would they just come clean and say, we do not want him ever to play for us again. He's a bum. We hate him. We signed a long-term contract. We're trying to get out of it. Now he is going to turn the tables on them. They're going to look to sue him to get out of this contract because he's a fraud. He's going to say that he wants to get out. All right, hold on a second. Bob Law Jr. is calling on my cell phone. And let's say hello to Bob Law Jr. Bobby boy.
What's up, Scott?
How you doing? Can we hear Bob on the microphone?
You hear me?
All right, we got you, Bob. How's things going down at Rogers Park? We don't got much time, so let's make it quick.
I'll tell you in a second. What unfortunately, it's calling for the Steeple Cats.
Steeple Cats are up 4-2 right now.
Top of 6 now.
Top of 6, and they only play 7 when they play double headers. So, they're going to have to get something going here. They do not want to lose the first game of this double header, or else things are going to be over fast. How's the spirit of the team down there, Bob?
Still kind of, but there's a good crowd tonight. A lot of people.
A lot of people. All right, so they got a double header crowd, and they got
the New York Racing Association here. We got the New York Police. We also have former Major Leaguer Bobby Bonilla here tonight too.
Bobby Bonilla is there again. Take a picture of him for once this time. He was there the other night. You called me too late. Now he's there again. I'm missing him again. Unbelievable.
He'll be here for the second game, so come on down.
Come on down after. Well, Bob, I would, but it is July 25th, and that means it is my wedding anniversary. So my wife will be expecting me home as soon as the show is over. If she is home already and watching, an early happy anniversary. I'll be home soon.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. So I will not be able to come down and check out Bobby, but that's great because, of course, his son Brendan Bonilla is on the team. So he's made it to Bobby Bonilla has shown up twice down at Rogers Park this week. As a Met fan, Bob, do you want to go and get in Bobby Bonilla's face and give him what for the negativity that he spewed on your Mets, or no?
I already got him get something signed for the Mets, so.
Yeah, because he is still being paid by your Mets, who won again today, by the way, Bob. They split that series with the Braves. Mets have been playing well. Of course, Citi Field had the All-Star game last week. Big moment for Mariano Rivera there. And your guy, Matt Harvey, pitched the first 2 innings, didn't give up any runs. Too bad the National League couldn't score any runs, and the American League won at 3-zip. But, it was a good showing at Citi Field as they had a packed house there. So it was a great deal for them. But we got only about a 1 minute left, Bob, so thanks for the call.
Okay.
And I'm going to get out of here. Maybe I'll put on my rally cap.
Hopefully I will not be back again next week because we still have a game next week.
That's all right. We're off, actually, for the next couple weeks, so we'll be running Danbury Westerner specials from all the interviews we did from the last week or so. So we'll be running Westerner specials.
Coming up next.
Yep. Keep your channel locked right here, and that show will be on. All right, Bob, we will talk to you later, and I'm going to... All right. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
All right, so that's about the show. We're wrapping things up. Red Sox, of course, finishing up the series. John Lackey tonight against Jeremy Hellickson. Big series as they try to hold on to first place and cool off these red-hot Rays. And we'll see what happens as the drama unfolds with A-Rod. We'll be off for the next few weeks running Danbury Westerner specials during that time. We will see you at the end of August and see where everybody is in the baseball standings then. So take care.